We are not doing a comedy skit at Winter Ales.
I think it's a great idea.
Twice, also known as 2 Weeks in Creative Endeavour, shares the stories, insights and journeys to now of creatives, innovators and social enterprises making a positive impact on society from Wellington, New Zealand. I'm your host, David Binstead.
Jay says we're getting divorced on the 23rd.
Yeah.
I said, wait, what if we don't sell all the kegs?
Views about breakfast drinking.
Positive? I guess you have a different kind of drink in the morning.
So here lies the challenge.
I'm a little bit scared now.
What if it's one of your own?
Hanging with two amazing people. Jay Taylor, manager of the Fork and Brewer, one of Wellington's craft brew institutions, but also Jane Street, and she currently works as marketing and sales manager for North End Brewing.
Alright, so the beer's coming out, it's kind of like a goldeny amber colour.
Yeah. Could be a pale ale. Bad carbonation.
Some bubbles.
Smells like it could be a pilsner or a lager. Do you guys have that thing in New Zealand, the candy floss man?
No, what is the candy floss man,
The
Jay?
candy floss man is a childhood favourite of mine.
Does he capture you in a wagon? Or
Rumour has it he could. He used to drive around Liverpool in this huge red van, and he used to have a bell. And every time he would drive up into the street, similar to like the ice cream man, he'd be ringing the bell, and all the kids will run out and buy candy floss. You just get a huge stick, probably about 1 metre, 2 metres, and it'd just be wrapped around with candy floss, which I think
a stick of candy floss?
I think you call
Is
cotton.
this how all your teeth fall out? Oh my goodness.
Isn't it called cotton candy here? Is that right? Yeah.
It's candy floss, same.
Yeah. But that's what that smells like. It smells like when you finish the candy floss and you smell the stick, and that sweet
burnt sugar kind of.
burnt sugar's on the stick.
Definitely.
So it's quite light as well, but I'm pretty certain it's a pilsner.
You reckon?
Yeah, or a lager. I feel like it could be a pilsner because it's sweeter than a lager.
It's a really light, kind of not crazy hoppy. Like it's got a really nice malt backbone, I think, and the flavour stays with you, but it's not kind of punching you in the face or anything like that. Like,
yeah, it's the style that I actually don't particularly like.
Jay just wants to be punched in the face every time he drinks beer.
I do. I just want hops.
It does have a wee little like metallic kind of finish.
Yeah, I think if this was, I've just been at work all day, been a long hard day, this is probably the beer that I want to drink first.
Yeah, I think it's a nice start beer.
Refreshing, yeah, start beer, easy, drinkable.
I'm not going to neck it because we don't encourage necking drinks,
Responsible
but
sales
you would
alcohol.
drink it swiftly.
Do you remember the first time you drank beverages with alcohol in them?
Yeah, it was a vodka and Diet Coke.
So slim, Jay, so slim.
I no longer drink vodka. I hate vodka with a passion.
How about you, Jane?
To be honest, I remember when we were younger, like my dad would pour a beer into a really crap beer. Sorry, Dad. He'd pour his beer into his glass, and then whatever the head was, we get to drink that.
I'm really interested to get a final score before I show you what it is. If you had to score it out of 5, where would you put it, Jane?
I'm going to give it a 3 just because it's actually not my style, but I mean, I know it's a lot of people's type of style. I think it could be a beer from Max.
I feel like I'm just going to go balls to the wall and say it. Is it Parrot Dog Dead Canary?
Don't think it is, actually.
It's like all good. I think
Probably going to be a
tastes.
Stanley.
Yeah, no, it's not great. It's not great.
Be assured, it's neither of yours.
I think it's pretty, like, it hits kind of the points where it kind of feel like it should hit. It's not overly hoppy. If in my mind it's like a pale ale, it's got, a little bit there. But maybe I give it, say, a 3.5 to 4.
What about you, David?
I'm going to go 3 as well, actually. The thing that initially put me off with the flavour, and I haven't quite got anywhere near the same sophistication of palate that you folk have, is that maltiness and like you described about the sort of the burnt sugar.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, interesting. And I was like, and then I went back into like a few sips further, and it was like, my taste buds have got used to it, or they've become a bit coated, and it's lost that level of interest to me. All right, if one of you grabs the bag, we can do a final reveal.
Oh, Kereru, Pohutukawa.
Golden ale.
So, is that a surprise to you both?
I've never seen that beer before.
Interesting.
Golden ales you don't see a lot about in New Zealand, but I mean it's on that level from the pilsner, then the golden ale, then the pale ale. So I mean we were close with the pale and the pilsner.
But where's my Pohutukawa, man?
Give a summary of what the Midwinter Ales Festival is.
The festival is on the 22nd of July, which is Saturday. It starts at 2 o'clock. It's based at the Hunter Lounge. I think we've upped it this year to about 600. We're just waiting on our numbers to come in from the Pledge Me thing.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been going since 2010. It's been run by Sober since 2010. This year, of course, it's run by 2 beer personalities, and also with the support of the craft beer community. We've had huge support from the craft beer community making this happen, which is fantastic. And I think it goes back to an earlier discussion when we were talking about the community-related type of things.
Really, we approached Craft Beer Capital to be kind of our partnering sponsor because obviously we're cool, but our credibility is not that we're like terrible people or anything like that. It's more just we don't want to put the like Jane and Jay show. We're kind of like, cool, we're doing this thing, but it's really about growing the community of craft beer in Wellington and having that craft beer capital and being able to have those bars that support.
I got to say, that must be like pushing against a really open door, right?
Yeah. I think the main message from it all is we just need to continue pushing that message of good craft beer here in Wellington and showcasing what Wellington can offer. And I mean, I'm going to also internationally, because we do have some international brews showcasing at Winter Ales this year. Australia, Switzerland, or Sweden.
Same
3 coffees all working.
Same
Should I say that again? So it's
Go on. Yeah, it's fine. I can edit it in. Go on.
Sure. Australia.
Sweden.
Thank you, Jane. So I mean, it's just about continue making that message. We took on Winter Ales and we had these ideas, and we've probably put about 50% of them ideas into practice, and the other we haven't, because we've listened to the beer community and we've understood. We both attended Winter Ales last year. Jane volunteered. I went to it for 1 hour. I had to work that day, unfortunately, and it was the first festival I went to in Wellington, and I was so stoked by it. Honest to God, in that 1 hour, it made a big impression. It was more about how the environment in the room, there was this amazing buzz. I love using that word, by the way. And it was showcasing fantastic beer, and it's in a great location. The Hunter's Lounge up on that hill is amazing.
So you're both like really heavily involved in the craft beer scene. How did you both get involved? And when did your interest kind of start from? Jay?
I remember when I was younger, my auntie owned a few pubs in Liverpool, and I used to sit there on a Saturday when my mum would do her shopping and my auntie would mind me and just watch my auntie do it. And yeah, she worked with a lot of the corporate brands, and not exactly craft beer wasn't the big thing back then, but I did sort of enjoy that social aspect of it. I felt like it just stuck in my mind, and then I went to university, and then I started in the hospitality sector. And yeah, I think the journey started from there. And I remember being in this room, and they actually had hops all around the wall, and they were falling off on the floor, and the beer was great, the level of service was great, the interaction, the type of people that were in the establishment was great. Everything about it was great. And that was the start of the journey. And then I finished university, and a year later I went to Australia, and I walked into a craft beer bar. Of course, back home we call it real ale and traditional ale and English ale. I didn't really call it craft beer in England, and it was only until Australia when I walked into this bar that said The Mill, home of craft beer. And my first beer actually is one that Jane brought along today, which is Yeasty Boys Gunnamatta. It was my first New Zealand craft beer that I tried, and I was stoked with it. I really was. Craft beer has this community focus about it as well. A lot of these people that make the beers are independent. It's in the community. There's a lot of effort that goes into it. I mean, the brew pub that I work into, and I watch Kelly Ryan, our brewer, every single day, working to make this fantastic beer and to start these discussions, these fantastic discussions around craft beer right now. You can sit there just as we just did. We can sip the beers. We can just talk about it. We can pick things out about it. We can look at the label. It just creates this whole entire conversation, this good buzz. And yeah, that's where it started.
Jane, your background in business and fashion, is craft beer fashionable?
It's quite funny because people, you go to university for 4 years or whatever, and you're like, I'm totally using my degree. Not at all. I did like fashion design and business. Business, I guess now for sure. I guess the change between is I started to work in fashion. In kind of high school, I did some I did this really cool thing where you got to like leave school for a day and go and do work experience and get credits. It was bloody great. So I was like, man, this is such a cool industry. And then I kind of decided, I don't know if I like loved it. You do 4 years of it at uni and you just get so intensely stressed. Then I went and worked in a restaurant, or I was working in a restaurant. I stayed there, and then we'd go out after work and we would drink at like a local bar here, and like craft beer, and we'd always be drinking craft beer. And people were like, you really love this, like, you know, because they were like, you just get really excited about the flavors and that kind of stuff. And then somebody we know very well who organises this other beer festival called Beervana, she got a job organising that, and I was like, hey, is there any jobs going? And she's like, absolutely not, I've got the only one. Just don't try to steal my job. And then she gave me a call and she said, hey, so there's this brewery can't do Beervana, but I thought maybe you could like, you know, help them out. And I was like, sweet as, I can totally like, you know, stick up some posters for their stand, all good. Turned out it was like, you know, you need to pour beer and like organise the bar part and like what it's going to look like. And so it turned into like a lot bigger of a thing. Yeah, and then I just applied for this job and got it. After working for a few beer festivals and doing another Beervana thing, and it was really fun.
You were both co-organising the Midwinter Ales Festival. Now, are you getting paid for this?
We are.
You are actually getting paid? Oh, cool.
At our own request, though.
Ah.
So an organisation was running it, and they put a call out for somebody to help, or they needed somebody to head up the organisation. And I had emailed and said, or like someone had passed it on to me, a couple of people, and I was like, hey, I can do it, but to be honest, right now I can't afford to take time off work and all that kind of stuff. So I need a little bit of like financial compensation. And it's been a little bit of a discussion on the internet, seeing that. And also when you look at people, I guess, who do this for a living, event management, the amount they charge, which is worth it because, as we well know, there's a lot of stuff that goes into this kind of stuff and coordinating.
Yeah, it's like another full-time job, to be honest.
Yeah.
Is it a bit like historically what would have been called a busman's holiday, but which now I want to call a bus person's holiday, but that doesn't sound quite...
Well, I think, yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
You're right. And I mean, expectations right now for festivals, especially in Wellington, after all, it is craft beer capital, these high expectations, and people want a festival to be delivered extremely well. They want that message to be continued, that we represent good quality beer in a great environment, and we showcase the best of what Wellington and / International has to offer.
And no pressure then.
No.
Yeah, no, not at all. I guess the thing is with you have festivals like Beervana and GABS, which has come to Auckland for its second time. People go, these are very big, flashy show kind of festivals, whereas Winter Ales is still in that sort of grassroots kind of style of a festival.
If you had to say what makes a good event, what are the elements, Jane, that you think are the most important?
I guess the centre of my world is always going to be people, and I'm like really experience orientated. Like I love building a wonderful experience for people, so I'd say having somewhere where you can collect good people and you just kind of have people that bounce off each other and create an awesome vibe. Then you got, you know, you maybe have a little bit of background noise, like a music and some sort of thing to bond over, like a drink or a food, is always around good people. For me, makes a good event, because you go back, you know, you leave it and you go, even if something terrible happened, you kind of all have like that shared experience.
How about you, Jane?
I think each year you need to bring something different to it, and this year we have a nitro bar, which is a different type of gas for people that don't know what nitrogen is. It's like what Guinness is poured from, brings out the malt. It's a lot more creamier. We have a sour bar, because everybody thinks it's all about these dark winter ales. Yes, it is, but not everybody is in the room to enjoy these dark 9% winter ale beers. They're there because
we cleanse it on the palate.
Yeah, we cleanse it.
Just really curious to ask about pigeons, but also how the two of you met.
So we got initially introduced through a friend, a lovely person. We must have re-met somewhere. We were in some sort of bar, and I was like, oh, hey, that's right, how are you? Met you that time, we had shared a pizza, la la. And then I think that day I'd had some sort of run-in with a pigeon, and it was sort of like I don't know, sometimes they're pesky and they just really try to like get way too up on your grill when you're eating something and you're like, for goodness sake, man, you just need to chill out. I'm going to eat my whole sandwich. No, you cannot have any.
And then I think I asked Jane, was this pigeon on Tory Street? And she was like, yes, it was on Tory Street. So we think we had the same interaction with the same pigeon.
So we were in this, we re-met in this bar called Goldings Free Dive, and they have a few like taxidermy things around the room, and then they have this image on the wall, and it's like a sketch somebody's done, but then somebody has also re-sketched over it and put a giant pigeon in the harbour. I don't know what happened to us, but we just really got emotionally involved in the relationship between these pigeons.
Pigeons, yeah. It was like a 2-hour conversation about pigeons then.
One of the things we're chatting about pre-show was some of your game changer or favourite beers.
I mean, I started drinking beer to like impress a boy. Stella Artois. Woohoo!
How did that go for you? Did you get the boy?
I think we dated for a while, so that's really good.
Nice.
Positive. Few years. And then he was like, what happened to you? You drink all this weird, crazy beer now. And then I was working at a restaurant and it was really wine focused and we did lots of wine training and things. And I was like, man, I really don't get it. And then I went downstairs on my break and I had a Tuatara Pilsner and I was like, oh my God, I can smell passion fruit. I can get this bitterness. I was like, bam, I can taste things. This is amazing. So there was definitely like a game changer beer for me.
Back in Australia, I had a lot of Garage Project beers. So the first thing I'd done when I got to Wellington was went straight to Garage Project. And yeah, I just feel a lot of their beers are very creative and very different and they stand out from the crowd and they've got fantastic branding and the experience you get at the tap room is incredible. It's a small little environment, but it's quite niche.
So here's what I'm really interested in. Is craft beer a bit pretentious?
I think it depends which way you come from, because any kind of space you go into when you are like out of your depth in terms of knowledge, you feel pretentious or you feel like, oh, they're a bit wanky. I think it is that education kind of thing and you go, man, I just want to drink something yum.
Talk to me briefly about the Too Much Beer blog.
I think it's just been an interesting topic in terms of that breaking the pretentiousness of craft beer, because one of my favourite ones that I saw, it was shared on the Brewers Guild's Facebook page and it was talking about looking for somebody to be like a brew pub brewer, and you need to have every single skill that you could ever have in your life and you're only going to get paid $45,000. And there's these comments on there of people being outraged.
Well, we'll stick another link in the show notes, but suffice to say it's a very refined method of trolling the industry and taking the piss out of itself.
Yeah, from somebody on the inside.
Who we don't know.
We don't know who it is yet.
No, there's like whispers, but no official evidence.
Do you think you have them type of groups that can make you pretentious? I feel it can be. I'm not part of the pretentious group, to be honest with you. I do appreciate good beer, but I'm not at all pretentious in the slightest. If I'm going to spend money, I'm going to spend it on something that's good quality, and that excites me and keeps me interested. And at the end of the day, I like to support local things, and that's why I go to local brew pubs and I spend money there. And that's my approach on the craft beer itself. You can be learning about the beer, but the people that come and drink the beer as well, you're learning from them. You're creating these relationships. You're in a great environment, and I'm stoked to be in the industry that I'm in right now, and I think it's a fantastic time to be in it, and I couldn't ask for more.
Would you say that you're a beer drinker with a HR problem or a HR professional with a beer problem?
Like my job is 60% office, 40% front of house, and I probably do 50-50 right now, but I mean, I love being involved in the beer side of things as well. It's fantastic.
You've got the Midwinter Ales Festival coming up. Message for the people turning up.
We just really hope that everybody enjoys the beer list. We've obviously got some old favourites. We've tried really hard to secure some really exciting new things or do some alternatives to like some old favourites. And we're kind of, we're working hard, and we really hope that everybody sees that and that you all have a really fantastic time.
Just as much as the people attending it, everybody's got a huge involvement in this Winter Ales Festival happening this year. The beer community, a lot of local support from Craft Beer Capital, local bars have given us some artwork. We've just got fantastic support, and everything is like this big umbrella, and it all connects it together, and the core of this umbrella is going to be a fantastic day, and We've got some fantastic volunteers helping out this year as well, which is going to be great. We could not do without them, so big massive thank you to these guys. We are still also asking for more volunteers, so if anybody's interested, please do drop us an email.
Well, where can we find you both online, professionally, personally, as you prefer?
You can find me on the gram, Jane Harriet Street.
Jay's JAYS_Voyage. Don't ask me why. I actually don't know why.
He's like reviewing his life choices now.
Yeah, or you can come into Fork and Brewer and visit me Monday to Friday.
Yeah, you can come to Salt and Wood and Waikanae. I'm there sometimes.
Or if it's winter ale stuff, then contact us on winteralesfestival@gmail.com.
Obviously, last year at Winter Ales, I volunteered, and it actually possibly is the best volunteering role I've ever done.
Yeah, we've got fantastic retention. I think it just demonstrates this fantastic ability to be involved in the beer community, being a volunteer at these events, and it's given back to the beer community, and you get to work in an awesome festival, and afterwards you can drink with me and Jane.
If there's an analogue object, item or thing that at the moment you can't live without, what would it be?
So we talked about this the other day and Jay laughed at me. But I said my chapstick.
That is pretty funny.
No, but it's seriously, man. If you like go out there in the wind and then you've got these like crispy dry lips and you lick them more and then you're just mad with yourself because it's a, you know, it's not for like my like full pash life that I've got going on.
How about you, Jay?
Currently, due to the winter, mine's probably my green water bottle. I can't live without my green water bottle. It keeps me warm at night. Yeah, I think I need that in my life right now.
Just talk us briefly about the Kibosh connection.
Kibosh has amazing values and visions as a food rescue charity, and food's an important part of my life, and I mean I'm sure it's everybody's life. And I don't know, it just fitted. It really did fit that Kibosh was there, and since we've contacted them, they've been fantastic as a support mechanism. We can't wait to announce after the festival how much money we've raised for them, and yeah, big shout out to Kibosh.
So what if this thing, you know, breaks even and we pay all our bills and we have money left over? We're like, goodness me, we don't really want, you know, the $5 million that will be made from Winter Ales to go into our bank accounts.
She's joking, by the way, listeners.
Imagine.
We just want to maintain that community thing, and once again, we're giving back to the community, and that's the important part of it. And I think Kibosh is a fantastic choice, and I hope everybody is extremely happy with it.
Yeah, we're really excited to be able to go, cool, we've paid all our bills and this is how much we've been able to give to these guys to keep, you know, giving food to people and making sure that that food waste is kind of, the loop is closed a little bit on that and being able to pick it up and drop it off to certain people in need. I guess other people to shout out to would definitely be Craft Beer Capital. Like literally we could not have done this without them. And the previous organisers as well, they were like, if you have any questions, totally ask us, and have helped us out quite a lot there.
And Beer Town.
Oh, Beer Town,
yeah,
yes.
Good old Martin.
He basically is the reason that we're doing this.
Martin messaged us and said, when the bucket is kicked over, clean up the mess and get shit done. And I feel that's what me and Jane done with the beer community this year. We've taken it on board. We've picked up the Winter Ales, and we're making sure it happens this year because everybody loves Winter Ales Festival, and it is happening on 22nd of July, Saturday, 2 p.m. at the Hunters Lounge.
Hey Jane, thanks ever so much for dropping along.
Thank you for having me.
And also Jay Taylor, thanks ever so much for dropping in.
Thank you, David. It's been a great opportunity today doing my first ever podcast.
Really?
Same.
Yeah.
But also want to thank our supporters and sponsors, which are BizDojo, Collider Wellington, and our Patreon patrons for their continuing support. This is David from the Twice Podcast, 2 weeks in creative endeavour, looking forward to the Midwinter Ales Festival.
We are not doing a comedy skit at Winter Ales.
I think it's a great idea. More work.
Do you know, I've really thought about this, like, but I was like, I'm seriously not that funny.
Should we do one of them dances? Like,
absolutely not.
I was actually watching one last night. There was a wedding, and they just
Have
broke
you
out
met
into
me?
cheers.
I'm coordinated, like, not even at all.
Midwinter Ales Festival goers, we have got a series of extra treats for you. Jay Taylor, Jane Street. Our time really is done.
Can we just say one more thing? You're more than welcome to come to Winter Ales Festival as well.
Not every single listener. Sorry.
Yeah. we're aiming this at David, guys.